Are we live? Okay. Okay. Goodness gracious. Bro, I tried to start this a few times. I kept getting some weird things. So let me check. This is a necessary check to make sure we're good on all of our channels. So let's check. Are we live? We got one. Oh no, do we have it? Jesus Christ. Okay, I got one. I got two. Am I good on all three? This time I don't know the answer, so I'm about to see. Sheesh. Looks like we are. Hopefully we are. Cotton's in lurk mode. So I'm asked a question I'm not 100% sure to answer because of technical issues. And Richard's here. Appreciate you being here. That's are we live? Hopefully. Are we live? Looks like we are. It only looks like it, but I've had some issues just starting this stream. So sorry I'm late. Vigilante wins here on the 173rd episode of VW Casual, which I'm just doing. You know, I'm trying to get back into streaming. I feel like I've been doing okay this first few weeks. I maybe need to stream from my phone a little bit more. Could be making more NFL content. It gets hit or miss. But I just appreciate you guys even being here. Shout out to Stream Elements Bot, the one of the OGs. And you can still tip on Stream Elements if you want to support your boy, which you don't have to. I know a lot of, streamers. It's funny, man. I've been streaming for a long time, and now streaming's a thing. And it's weird, right? I'm trying to do the music thing, and what they say is, hey, be a content creator. It's like, motherfucker. I've been doing that for 5 years. And granted, am I the most content creator? Am I coming up with 18 shorts each episode and spamming them in an SEO way and doing all? No, I'm not doing all that. I'm not. I'm doing my streams every so often. I do my videos every so often. And do my music every so often. I just do what I can when I can. I have a full-time job. Trying to be a content creator is a full-time job. And you don't know if the algorithm's going to be nice to you. So all you can do is the best you can and go with that. And, if we can't, I thought about hiring an editor. I don't really know. I'm not in the space now. Now I'm looking for a home. This is a very stressful thing. I saw a home I like, but needs a new roof, so it's like, oh fuck. You know what I mean? So I kind of feel like I'm probably gonna have to disqualify that one. So it's on to the next one. I've looked at quite a few, so it just is what it is. It's a good problem to have, I guess. Even though you can't really buy a home in America, which is its own issue. Shout out to taxes. Taxation is theft. But what do you do? Hey, Scrambles. Appreciate you being here. My neck. I don't know if you guys heard that. Sheesh. Appreciate you being here, man. Just talking. We haven't really started a subject. I'm not paying, we can talk about politics, but I'm not really inclined. I don't even know everything that's going on. My grandma was telling me about the ICE stuff, the Minnesota stuff. I know they shot a chick. People are mad. I don't know. That's all I know. I don't have anything to contribute. I guess there's a lot of protests about it. Shout out to Matt from Fireball Productions. He covered. If you want to talk politics, that's probably the place to go. He's more well versed on that whole situation than me. So what do you want to talk about? I'm about to drive home from work. There you go. Shout out to work. But you'll be listening. I appreciate it. What is there? I think not from Minnesota. I'm not illegal, so I don't care. The chick was a white lesbian, so that's I think that's why people are mad. I don't know. It's probably a psyop. Something government psyop. 9 times out of 10. If it's on the news, if they're making a big deal out of it, it's probably a psyop. It's probably the CIA. Walter Cronkite apparently was legitimately a CIA employee. And if you guys, he's for the old heads. Actually, Walter Cronkite's before my time. Hurting the feelings. New 50. Ain't hurting the feelings. It's just sucks to see our man be a dick. But yeah, Walter Cronkite, he was a long time broadcaster. I don't know if it was CBS, ABC again. He's before my time. Um, damn, that's what we taxing the people like that. $3.99 for a 2-pack of Big Cup with Reese's Pieces. They like big Reese's with Reese's Pieces in them, but they got you. Say they delicious. Still sucks. Talking to Richard, it's just, and check out his Wattpad if you haven't. Check out his Owlman and different characters he's coming up with. Check out his, he's got a lot going on. Which actually I don't know if that wasn't on the Wattpad. That was a Docs link. So, but he's got a bunch of stuff on his Wattpad, so you can still check that out. So yeah, but I'm just talking about something he sent me, and I didn't. Speaking of which, I saw you had a bunch of voice messages. I didn't go through them yet, so I don't know what you're talking about. Don't know what you're talking about. But won't be out till the end of the year. Speaking of which, I got to put out this music. I've been slacking on the music. I got a lot of this. I want to do a rap album. I'm going to do. I have a lot of beats. Have it written. I just been bullshitting a little bit. Part of it is just, but not bullshitting. It's just I've been fucking doing this fucking house shit, and I get burnt out doing it, and I don't really have much time. And so it's just like work, house shit. I'm trying to work out. I've been able to work out a little bit more, at least 3 or 4 times a week. So that's cool. Hopefully we can keep that up and, keep the weight down. Inspiration is Ministry Undertaker. Shout out to the Ministry Undertaker. That's pretty dark stuff, but whatever. I saw a meme. Shout out to the Texans, by the way, the only team I can root for still in the playoffs since my team shit the bed. It was a meme of the old Austin and Vince McMahon in the hospital where Stone Cold hits Vince McMahon with the bedpan. I remember I watched that live as a kid. Shit was so funny. That was so funny. I'll take it from here, nurse. They just start beating the hell out of Vince. But they was using that for the Texans winning their game against the Steelers. Texans, I think Texans could be the Super Bowl pick. CJ had a bunch of turnovers, so I'm a little worried about that. But, it didn't really matter. That's how good the defense is, or at least they were to the Steelers that day. We'll see how they do against the Patriots, and we'll see. We'll see who wins the Superb Owl, a.k.a. the Super Bowl. Why do they want to trade? Oh, no. See, they've been doing that for years. Shout out to the discipline of the GM and the staff there. They see the Pistons are an up-and-coming team. They are still a star-driven league, star-driven coverage. So they say, let's pair this up-and-coming team with a quote-unquote star player. Zion is not a star because he's a good basketball player. Zion is a quote-unquote star because he keeps fucking women from Pornhub and OnlyFans and therefore is famous. But he doesn't play basketball. He's what happens if you take an incel, but you make him 6'5" and give him a 45-inch vertical. That's all he is. No, and I'm not trying to shade him. I'm the incel king. I'm just being honest with what I've seen. He doesn't really want to work hard. He just wants to fuck porn stars. He doesn't really care about being in shape. If he does try to get in shape, he hops on something like Ozempic, which only makes him worse as a player because Ozempic is a weight loss drug, not a fat loss drug. And what's the difference between that? Muscle is weight too. You can waste muscle and bone density. Believe it or not, look it up. Don't believe Vigilante if you use Ozempic. And so I'm not saying that he did. I have no evidence. But it looks like he did when you consider his loss of weight also comes with a loss of explosiveness. If you lost weight the right way, you should be able to still have some muscle and some of that It's not, don't get me wrong, even losing weight the right way may have a slight loss of muscle. That's not uncommon at all. It's fairly common, right? But you wouldn't be less explosive. You would, more than likely be more explosive because you're not going to lose that much muscle proportionate to your fat. But that's what happened. Hey, Fizz, appreciate you being here. Yeah, he should be more explosive if you lose weight. That's what usually happens. Because, yeah, you may lose a slight amount of muscle. And then a lot of times, if you do lose muscle in the process, you can regain that fairly quick. Muscle will come back. We use the term muscle memory. It's a real thing. Muscle will come back. So let's say he was 320 pounds and got down to 250. There's a loss of 70 pounds. Some muscle's going to be a part of it. But then after you do that, you go through another 3 or 4 months. Maybe you put back on 15 pounds. You can regain some of the lost muscle. And then now you're in the optimal point. You're 265 and you have optimal amount of muscle. And that's especially you're talking about pro athletes, that's what you would think happened. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. So he more than likely hopped on a semaglutide. That's another term for, is that Ozempic or Wegovy or both? Semaglutide, I know, is one of those GLP-1 drugs. Ooh, shit, Ozempic killed half your mom's colon. That shit is not good, man. We see what's happening to the wicked bitches. Man, people hop on that Ozempic shit. I'm a big motherfucker. So people in my family, maybe try Ozempic. Fuck you. I listen to it. I don't say this. Are you fucking kidding? Do you research this shit? Or you just listen to? You don't research shit. You don't really got to research shit, honestly. Enough people know Ozempic is not good for you. You will lose fat. You will lose more than that. And apparently, he said messed up someone's colon. People have messed up colon, messed up organs, messed up bones. That stuff's no good, man. It's derived from Gila monster venom. I've never even heard of that. Gila monster venom? Gila? Never even heard of it. Wouldn't shock me. I mean, don't get me wrong. Listen, I'm trying to do everything I can to lower my own appetite. I'm using what's called berberine, trying to get more protein in a way, and whey. I'm trying to get whey protein. I bought a couple things of that, and so I got that for a little bit. Trying to eat less, eat out less, eat more fruit, take vitamins, work out. I'm trying, right? And it's tough, I want to get more walks in than I do. I want to get more active than I can. I get it. A poisonous reptile in the southwest of Mexico. I'm gonna go ahead and say the Most High did not make that for us. I'm gonna go ahead and say we shouldn't be using venom. Some things of the earth are for the people. I don't think reptile venom, southwestern reptile venom, is what the people need. Civilian want an easy way out, and they're taking it. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Hey, Brandon Holland. Swarm. Christian Kirk has arrived. Christian Kirk has arrived. He came in saying the 80-20 rule, which it goes both. What was it? 80% of the work is done by 20% of the things you do. Something like that. But, or I don't know. But yeah, that whole Ozempic, man. The whole Ozempic. It's got to stop. We got to stop trying to unnaturally alter our bodies, man. And, Mike Tomlin, finally. I want the whole AFC North. Sorry, I'm going back to football. I want the whole AFC North to fucking fail. But that cheap bastard in Cincinnati still has Zach Taylor. But I got the rest of the coaches. I got 3 out of 4. I wanted them all fired because they're ruining the game. They made that division a poverty division between him, Harbaugh, and Stefanski. Even though people are acting like Stefanski's some great coach, he was okay with Baker, and he was okay that 1 year with Flacco. They have a good defense. I don't think Stefanski's that great of a coach, but he's getting hyped up. Oh, you get rid of the worst 20% of your diet, add the best 20% on. Okay. I never heard that relative to diet. That's a smooth bit of logic, Brandon Holland. I'm going to have to really focus on that. Shout out to Kenshi, saying you don't know where to recruit a new member. Your faction of Kenshi, your food production isn't up to snuff. That's cool that you can even do all that stuff. But yeah, Tomlin got fired. This is a crazy coach thing. Matt LaFleur may get fired. 80-20 can work for a lot of stuff. I've heard it in regards to other things, 80-20 rule. Like you get 80% of your work done with 20% of the things you do and stuff like that. If you have a business, 80% of your business comes from 20% of your audience, things like that. But I've never quicker than get 1% better every day. Yeah, I like that 80-20. So get rid of the worst 20 and add the best 20 on top of it and keep rinse and repeat. So yeah, I'm gonna have to keep that mentality. I guess like you said, I was doing it anyway, but like that's a nice framing way to focus. Framing way to focus. So yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. But yeah, going back to football. Shout out to Mike Tomlin getting fired. This is a crazy coach carousel. There's a lot, there's coaches who are both taking OC, like Mike McDaniels. They're talking to him in Cleveland as a head coach, but then he coming to Detroit as an OC. And I think Stefanski's got a few interviews like that where they want to hire him as potentially an OC, but he's also taking jobs or taking interviews as a head coach. So hey, it's the league. It is what it is. They gotta. What happens if Andy Reid retires or Kelsey? Which I think Kelsey will. I do wonder when Andy Reid is gonna retire. I don't know if he wants one more ring. The amount of giants and legends Texas may lead the sport. Yeah, we add to it because that's not only obviously it was Tomlin's last game as a Steelers coach, and that's going to be Aaron Rodgers' last game. So yeah, wow, 0-8. Well, no, they had the other Super Bowl, right? Because they went to the Super Bowl and lost against the Packers in 2012, 2011. No, 2011. So after that, they must right? Because they won in 06, 07, and then they went back and lost against the Packers. But I can't remember the years. So that you still may be close. But I feel like they lost more recently than they won. 2011. No, they lost in 2011, right? They lost to the Packers. So I think it's since the Super Bowl appearance. Which actually makes it worse, right? Because you go 0-8 after losing in the Super Bowl. So that makes it even worse. So let me make sure that the 80-20 for work with a lot of stuff incorporate quicker than the 1%. Better every day. Fair enough. Processing grain processes out the nutrients, facts, as in poisonous preservatives. Big pharma lobbyists create forever patients. They got to really, they're not going to do it. The FDA is a joke. They're not going to do shit. Harbaugh and Tomlin. Oh, yeah, you're right. You did beat Harbaugh earlier in the season. You blew him out. Nick Chubb revealed games. Oh, yeah, he did have his injury against the Steelers. I forgot about that. Let me check. Steelers, Packers, Super Bowl. It was Super Bowl, what is it, XL, what was that, 45? So that was 2010. 2010 season, 2011 Super Bowl. 2000, okay. Now I'll show you guys. I'm just on the Wikipedia. Super Bowl 35 or 45 XLV. Mike Tomlin lost to Mike McCarthy, who's already been fired twice. Think about that. He was fired from 2 jobs. And he did pretty good in Dallas, too, as far as his record, Mike McCarthy. But not good in the playoffs, and that's what counts. Packers were favored, to be fair. But, yeah, that was 2011. And, the 25-31. Uh-oh. Hopefully we're still on air. I got a weird little pop-up. So, sheesh. 0-8 after that. Makes it even worse. Big pharmacy does not create cures; they create customers. Yeah, that's the not to go socialism, man, but that is a problem with the capitalist spirit. Is if everything is for profit, then the mind gets a bit nefarious, and now you have um, corporations who want to keep you sick because it's a lot of money for a lot of people that you stay sick. Even how do they get you involved? Well, some of us are the nurses and doctors and other healthcare professionals who also get paid from this wicked system. Yes, that was kind of funny. Caleb Bullock throw Rodgers off the field during the pick six. Yeah, I did see that. A Jag fan just realized losing the playoffs means your season is over suddenly. Well, they don't get to the playoffs that enough to know that. I mean, I know they had the Saxonville era, right? Where they did okay with Bortles, but they went to an AFC championship. You would think they had more understanding of how this works. Which hopefully this is the year Houston goes. I feel like Houston should beat the Patriots, but not if, man, CJ, a lot of people believe in you. You gotta do better than that. You can't be turning the ball over, and you gotta learn how to snap. I don't know if it's him or the center. Looks like it. I mean, whatever, but y'all gotta get that right. They don't want to cure your asthma, just sell you inhalers. Yeah, there's all sorts of, not to go Sebi, there's all sorts of natural ways to do things. Not that I'm an expert. Obviously, I got a lot of weight on me. I got a lot of issues. I still have a processed food addiction. So, but I know enough because I've done better against it than I'm doing now, right? Where I was a lot more natural, a lot more cooking, a lot more fruit and vegetable at home. So, simple stuff, fasting, water fasting, intermittent fasting helps your body heal. Simple stuff like that, simple, nutrients and things like that. Quit drinking, now you snack hard. That's not an uncommon thing. One, your body's going to crave a lot of sugar because alcohol hits the body a lot similar to sugar. So you're trying to what's the word? Compensate, I guess. No, the Steelers with who did they beat? No, because the Cowboys haven't been since the 90s. The Cowboys went against the Steelers in the 90s. Then they lost. That was when they still had Cowher. And then Cowher won in 2004, I believe. Let me just look at the Super Bowl. Let's bring up the Super Bowl list. Because I'm very confused now that you mention it. Do they have like his list of Super Bowl winners? Let me see. Cause now I gotta look at it. I just wanted the list of the. I'll go ahead and show you guys. Now I'm intrigued. This I don't want all the story. Just need a list, which I may have already skipped. Oh, just region host. Sheesh. Maybe list of champions. Okay, this has every game. Winning team, losing team. Let's skip to Dallas Cowboys Bills is 94 for the 93 season. Each year is going to be for the previous season, right? San Francisco Chargers, or San Francisco 49ers against the Chargers. Shout out to Cali. That's 94. For the 94 season in 95. Cowboys beat the Steelers. For the 95 season in 96. Green Bay came back next year, beat the Patriots. Then the next year after that, Green Bay lost to Denver. Who repeated because they beat the Falcons. And then that St. Louis versus Tennessee, which St. Louis isn't even a team anymore because they moved back to L.A. And Tennessee had only just became a team because they came from Houston. And then continue that thing. Baltimore which now looks like it's been an expansion franchise, but it's not. It's the original Cleveland Browns, but they ended up with a new one. They beat the Giants in 2000 or 2001 for the 2000 season. Wait, this is is the red team the winner? Let me lose. Oh no, the red is the conference. The losing team's on this side always. The winning team's on this side. Okay. Like, what the hell is this red thing? Confuse me. All right. Red is AFC. Blue is NFC. So you got a lot of, here comes New England. And then Pittsburgh. Okay. Pittsburgh for the 2005 season. This was in Detroit. And I did not go. And I could have. That's a whole other can of worms. For the 2005 season, they beat the Seattle Seahawks in the only Super Bowl of my lifetime in Detroit. I think they may have had one in the Silverdome back then. And then that's who they beat, the fucking Cardinals. Jesus, I was like, who the fuck did they beat? This is when they beat the Cardinals, which was actually one of the better games when James Harris had that crazy-ass touchdown at the half. Pittsburgh versus the Cardinals. That's 2008, or the 2009 season. No. Happened in 2009 for the 2008 season. Then a couple years later is what I was talking about, where they lose to the Packers. And then the Giants and Patriots repeat. Eli Manning does it again in the Ravens. Then the Seattle Seahawks against the Broncos. That's Peyton Manning choking in the playoffs. Nothing new here. And then the Patriots. And this must be rigged moment. First one. Actually, we can go through them. Because you have the best running back in the league. You're on the 1 yard line. You pass the ball. You throw an interception. This was the football must be rigged. If that didn't get it, you have the next year Broncos versus Panthers, where you have a quarterback who has been putting his body on the line all year long, running head first into people, and all of a sudden, at the biggest moment, a fumble happens and he stares at the ball and he's afraid to jump on it. I can't make this shit up. And that was like, what the fuck is happening? And if that didn't do it, 28-3. These are the 3 years that fucking red pilled me. And then this didn't help. I thought they just gave it to the Eagles because they couldn't keep giving it to the Patriots, which they did the next year, which was one of the worst Super Bowls. Shout out to my guy, Jared Goff. But these are the 3 years that Seattle shit, the Cam Newton shit, and the Falcons. It's like, no way. No way is this shit real. I was born that night. I wasn't born last night. And then a bunch of other ones. And last year's another. Use the Philadelphia Eagles to throw it off the scent. Well, everybody's on the Chiefs. We're not going to give them the three-peat. Plus, if everybody bets on the Chiefs, it's the payday. That's the thing about the upset. If everybody bets on the favorite, it's a massive payday when you trigger the upset. So, yeah, just a little quick shout out to everybody who loves the Super Bowl, loves football. So, yeah, Tomlin and Cowher and Tomlin only got one each. Yeah. Quit drinking. Okay, so that everyone in Salsa Texas offense had the number one. Yeah, Christian Kirk and fucking Woody Marks balled out. They got enough. Man, I thought this offense was going to be better throughout the year because of the There's a lot of talent on this offense. It's really Caley. Caley sucks, and I can't just put it all on Caley. CJ, since that concussion, he has ghosts. He's seen ghosts. I noticed his footwork. I know Peyton Manning had the happy feet where he kept bouncing up and down, but he keeps bouncing up and down. He doesn't look stable. He looks like he's scared of a pass rush since that concussion. I hate to say it, at first I would say Davis Mills is not good enough because he's really not. But if CJ's fucking up, you put Davis Mills in. You do not waste this team. This team has a championship chance with its defense. And if CJ's still feeling shit from that concussion, it happens. Concussions don't just go away. You know what I'm saying? I hate to be dark, but ask Chris Benoit. Concussions don't just, it's 2 weeks later, I'm good. That's not how that shit works. We want it to work like that for sports, but that's not how that shit works. So I'm really seeing some issues with CJ I hate to be dark and macabre to say that, but it's real. Ask AB about how concussion symptoms work. Ask AB. I'm sure Antonio Brown has a lot of information to tell you about how concussions work. So I think CJ's still feeling something for that, both physically and mentally and emotionally. So Steelers Cardinals, Brandon Holland got to it before I did. That's the one I was looking for. I forgot who they beat. That was a great game, and that was actually the first we finally had got an HD TV, and it made me realize the difference between HD and SD. Those were the days. Yeah, Larry Fitzgerald lost. They went once in the 90s. They went once against the Cowboys. We just went through that, though. Alcohol is literally poison. It actually is legitimate poison. Just a poison that humans decided feel good. That's true. Steelers faced off with the Cowboys against the 70s twice. 75-38. Already said, yeah, I know I'm late. Because I didn't have you guys up, so I was just going through the article. Steelers Wiki is so fragmented, there's a lot of missing information. Well, that's Wikipedia for you. So 08 was your last W. Eagles lost their WC game. Shout out to Pittsburgh. It's a wild card. Yeah, they did lose their wild card. Central returned to Pittsburgh. Steelers went 0-8 and barely made it that far. Yeah, almost every year is 9-8, 8-8, 9 because some of these years in the 16-game era, some in the 17. So a lot of 9-7, 8-8, 10-6, 10-6, like no more than 10 wins. 9, 8, and 10 win seasons. Lots of them. Tons of them. Maybe one 11-win season. That's true, Brandon Holland. They did start a terrible O-lineman early on in the season. But honestly, the O-line is a lot better. Listen, the Texans O-line by the end of the season was better than the Lions O-line. To look at both teams, the Texans O-line is solid. They've got it together. Not that obviously there's something going on with the center exchange. Not the best O-line in the league. I wouldn't go that far, but they've gotten themselves solid. Again, going back to the concept of having stars and having cohesion. I was talking about that with the Pistons. Getting rid of Laramie Tunsil. Everybody, Laramie Tunsil, he's such a great offensive line guy. And then, the team he leaves, their offensive line improves. The team he goes to, their offensive line gets worse. Sometimes just having that flashy name is not what you need. You know what I'm saying? And the media has a refusal to understand that. Not just their refusal, because it's so much easier to talk about star players or, even at the offensive line position where there's not a lot of stars. It's so much easier to talk about the most famous, the most known player than it is to be a legit analyst. But yeah, it's rough. That's what I'm worried about with the Lions, man. I'm not trying to be – I'd rather fire Dan Campbell early. And I'm not going to lie. Not to be prisoner of the moment. I'm thinking, motherfucker, Dan Campbell was never – I hated the media being right, but it was Ben Johnson. I hate that the media made that state. They didn't make that statement, but that was the way they've been acting the past couple years, especially when Ben Johnson left for the Bears. A lot of people, the Bears are going to be great. They fucking are. The Lions are going to fall off, and they fucking are. The Lions are falling off. So I'm like, fuck. They were right. I didn't want them to be right. And so I'm looking at Dan Campbell like, is he even a good coach? I mean, I don't want to go 10 years of just making the playoffs and that's good enough and the standard is that. I don't want to be the Steelers. I'd rather go back to being the shitty Lions just for a chance because we need a chance to win a Super Bowl. We got to win the fucking Super Bowl. This isn't Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl. So, because they still terrible. Can A. Brown answer the question without going on an abusive rager? Probably not. Probably not. I haven't really seen a lot of evidence that he can. They fired Lincoln Tomlinson and C. Sal took Scruggs and passing out, moving tight ends, promoting Ingram, bringing back Trent Brown from IR, fixed it. Yeah, not just the OC, but the Lions O-lineman leaving. Yeah, it was Zeitler left, which that sucked, and nobody really talks about my man Zeitler. And then obviously Frank Ragnar retired. Now we literally have to rebuild the whole O-line, including maybe even moving Panay Sewell, who's our right tackle, to the left, which I don't really like to do because I think the strength of our team was running the ball, and when he's a lead blocker on the right side, man, he's dangerous. So I don't really want to move him to the left side, but that may be what we have to do. So we may have to literally have a whole, we'll have him, but everybody else, new personnel, and then him at a new position. So we got to rebuild that offense. And a lot of teams have to rebuild their offensive line. So a lot of teams, it's not like we're just going to be looking in the vacuum. So the price for these players is players that people look at. He's a free agent. He's a free agent. A lot of people are going to be putting money in a lot of these tackles and centers and even some of these guards. A lot of them are going to get a lot of money. Believe it or not, this year. This is the year. This is the year to be an offensive lineman in free agency. There's going to be a lot of people willing to toss a lot of bread at some O-linemen. And then we got to get it done in the draft. So I don't know about the Lions. People all on Facebook glazing the hell out of Tomlin seasons. Good enough GOAT status. That's wild. I will say this, Ruin. You don't want to be, and the Bills know it. The Bills have that fear in their heart. You don't want to be the Bills like they used to be, or the Lions like they used to be, the Jets how they are. The Dolphins have won a playoff game. I don't know, Richard, if you're still in this chat. The Miami Dolphins have not won a playoff game since you've been alive. The last one in 1999? 1999. Or maybe it was 2000. I was dreaming when I wrote this. Forgive me if I go too fast. But life is just a party, and parties aren't meant to last. 1999? Are you kidding? Let me check that now. I'm looking on Wikipedia. 1999. So shit, man. It's just talking about. It could get worse. Is my whole point. Making fun of these teams. I know it sucks to constantly, but at the same time, after going a few years of underachieving sucks too. Underachieving sucks so much dick. We should have went to the Super Bowl in 2023, and we fucked that game up. Then we come back the next year, and then we get mauled by Jaden Daniels. Then we come back this year, we don't even make the fucking playoffs. That shit hurt. It does hurt more than just being a shitty team. I'm not going to lie. So I get both sides of it. But you do, you know what I mean, as much as people shit on Tomlin, and rightfully so, I mean, he's hired horrible coordinators, man. Like, some horrible coordinators who are never, ever going to have a chance to do. I mean, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Some really what the fuck coordinators. But, I don't know. So, you know, you might go through, if you go through 10 years, the next 10 years, and you don't make the playoffs, that's the risk you took. You know what I'm saying? That's how it goes. Life is there's risk. And I'm gonna have to just Google that question outright. I was looking on Wikipedia. Tomlin's, his floor is higher than the Jet ceiling, yeah. And I know nobody wants to hear that shit either, because that, again, these both are shitty options. Stay in that purgatory permanently where you get to go to a playoff game every year and get blown out. That's another thing. He hasn't just lost these last few games. The last 3 or 4 have been blowouts. It's like, it's like everybody gets to see your team get blown out every year. That's not fun. So I don't know. But then you got a team like, no, I'll tell you what would really suck is the Bengals, where you have a lot of potential. You have a Super Bowl quarterback, and they're never going to put a good team around him. Their owner is cheap. Their owner is the precise owner. Listen, most sports owners are actually like him, but he's 1,000 times over it, where he is just trying to buy for one, sell for two, and profit. He is going to spend only enough money for his team that he needs to make the amount of money that you get from an NFL franchise. he is going to spend, like, they had one of the worst facilities. He doesn't want to do the basic shit in Cincinnati. Now, that is what does suck. I will say that. Y'all, the tax situation, which I hate this shit that teams even can do this shit. You're taxed to keep the Pirates and Steelers here. You should be more appreciative to Pittsburghers. Don't realize we're taxed to keep these fuckers in Pittsburgh. That is a good point. That's a good counterpoint. You're literally paying for this shit. And the only team to prove their worth for the Penguins. That is and that's what's fucked up. And I think San Antonio is fighting that. They're going through that for the Spurs because they want to add taxes. They want to build a new stadium, and so they want to add taxes. And people. It's not everybody's not bending over. Everybody's not just NBA cool. We'll do anything for you. No. All three teams were considering leaving Pittsburgh in 2018. I think it was 2018. See, that's fucked up. That's what I hate about pro sports. That they could extort a city like that. Especially when you talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, Pittsburgh Pirates, Pittsburgh Penguins. These are like old, classic, part of the fabric. They all wear the same colors. You know, they're part of the fabric of sports. And you're like, we'll just move them. We'll move them to Vegas or some shit. Which I know Vegas is not available for all these, different cities or different games. But you know what I mean. We'll just move them to Vegas or Tennessee or some shit. Fuck it. You know what I mean? Fuck your decades and decades of love for our franchise. We're just, pay us more tax money, regular person, so we can profit. Or we'll just go to Tennessee or some shit. Like, what? You're all hoes. Hey, our far triple extra OG. Back in the under 100 OG. Holy shit. Long time no chat. Yeah. Appreciate you being here. I'm glad you're around, man. Shout out to you, man. You still got the same avatar. What was that? The Powerpuff Girls as DC characters, if I remember. It's like how I look. Yep. Appreciate you being here. Dope shit. Dope shit, man. We're just talking sports out of all the stuff we could talk. So only a few people, because I don't have a central topic, only a few people are going to participate in whatever topic we're talking about, right? Sometimes if it is a little news, politically worthy, not everybody wants to talk about it. Some people are. I did make it over 1K, sort of. 2 stadiums, 1 arena on top of pit and Penn demanding stadium replacements. That's extortion. See, that's the evil shit about American sports. They can literally extort a municipality as if the normal person, the everyday person who still, if they want to see that sport play, they're going to have to, obviously you can watch it on the internet now, but, they might deal with blackouts if there's not enough people who went to the stadium, paid $1 trillion for parking, paid $1 trillion for the ticket, paid, $50 for the hot dog and beer, and paid, $500 just to go see a mediocre team. If enough people didn't go see that, you're going to get blacked out. You got to pay taxes on their stadiums that you get no profit or recompense for. Oh, well, they'll let your little shitty conference play their little conference championship, your high school conference championship in their stadium. They'll give you that. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? Are we going to get and then when you rent it out to Beyonce or Taylor Swift, are we going to get a piece of that? No. Are we going to get a piece of anything? No. Having a gaming night, dope. First in a long time. My channel's in the background. I'm honored. Demo Krats gave all 5 everything they wanted regardless of what we wanted. Fucked up business, man. Fucked up business, but I'm not shocked. That's what all these cities do. They just bend over to the. We built the stadium Swift plays in. Tickets, yeah, exactly, 100,000 each. Everybody gets the profit off of y'all hard work. And this is not saying y'all. I'm just saying we're talking about Pittsburgh. Most cities have this. Houston's about to go through this shit. Hell, even me buying a house, it might. That's another reason to buy a house. They have talked about coming semi in the area that I'm at, which there isn't no. It gets a little rule once you go a little further. If they move across town, they would literally be moving across town. It's like, it could jump the value up, or worsen the value. Who knows? If it becomes a hood around the stadium, who knows? But Houston's gonna have to go through this for the Texans in a few years, and I've heard that they want, as far as the Texans, they want a good portion of money from the city and the state, or the city at least. They're gonna want hundreds and hundreds of millions, if not that bill, from the city, and it's like, well, I don't know where that's supposed to come from. And if that's supposed to come out of the taxes, either a tax gets levied to the people, and or tax money that would have went elsewhere does not go elsewhere. It goes towards that stadium. And I think it's going to be, unfortunately, was it the first one? Guys, that's the former or the latter. I think it's the former, but whatever. It's going to be fucking bullshit. The Indians will pay for it. Oh, January 31st is the Senior Bowl. That's going to be important in the off season of a lot of people. I have not been totally great from a skills and especially quarterbacks the past couple years. I mean, we had the one just 2 or 3 years ago with Bo Nix and Caleb and all these motherfuckers. But last year and this year, not so much. And it's weird. I wonder how these drafts, how is, for both basketball and football, now we have the NIL, name, image, and likeness deal that these stadiums and these schools and all that shit gets. I mean, I don't know why I said stadium, I meant just the schools and these programs. They give out to the students. We already have where there's some college students that make some more than some of these rookies. How is that gonna help or hurt development where, by the time they get into the league, they've already been a millionaire for 3 or 4 years? Are they gonna put in that grind? You know what I mean? That you need to put in to be a pro. Some will, obviously, but some won't. We know some won't. So we'll see how that long term plays out, because that's something I've been worried about, especially when now we're getting to a point where in both cases they don't want kids out of high school anymore. They only want kids that have already been playing as a collegiate athlete, whether it's some guy from JUCO or D2, D3 or whatever, but they don't want kids anymore for college football. It's all grown men. Somebody pointed out Indiana University, I think their average age is 23 for their player, and the Green Bay Packers average age is 25. So you literally, a pro team is only a couple years older than than this college team. It's like, that's fucking nuts. So this is good. This NIL thing is gonna really affect the NFL. It's just something that's hit me. You talking about the Senior Bowl, national championship game. What is it? Is it Monday? I know it's coming up. I think it's Miami versus Indiana. I don't have a rooting. I guess I'm supposed to be a Big Ten shill and just root for Indiana. We'll see what happens. I don't really give a shit. I wish I cared more about college sports. I honestly, and didn't expect this to be the sports ball episode, but I'm ranting about something. I'm not about to talk about Minnesota. This is about Prince again. I don't have a problem with the NIL as much as I do this playoff. I know a lot of people love the playoff. I know people who have grown up with the playoff being a thing. We complained about the BCS and how fucked up a system that was. I think they should have kept it at 4. Now that we're at 16, the bowl games don't mean shit. The regular season doesn't mean shit. We still argue just the same over rather this many lost team, and we haven't stopped the arguing at all. We should have kept it at 4. That was the right number. That was the magic number. And now that they've gone to 16 and maybe 24, I have zero interest in college football. None. Don't give a shit. I don't care at all. And I hate that, because I used to watch college football. And again, I know the BCS wasn't perfect. I know that we ended up with multiple national champions, and even before that, because before BCS, you didn't even have that. And, you had all sorts of janky. The system has been janky in college football for a long time. But yeah, it's already too many teams to keep track of anyway. But it was easy when basically you knew if you lost the game, that was it. If you didn't go undefeated, there wasn't a chance of you being in, and that was it. And then the next thing was maybe you'll go to a cool bowl afterwards. And then they had, now they got this transfer portal and the way it's scheduled. The team that actually goes on the field is not even the team that played all year. They fucked that up. They fucked that right up. And like you said, too many teams. Already like 100 fucking teams. All these different conferences. It's too much. And then they fucked up the conferences for both college sports. It was lined up perfect. You had the Pac-10, or it used to be the Pac-10. Pac-10, which doesn't even exist anymore. Now you guys got the Big Ten, which is actually like 20 teams. Fuck all that. Pac-10 was the West Coast. Big 12 was the Southwest. Big 10 was the Midwest. Right? Big East was the East Coast, especially Northeast. ACC was the whole coast. Could go up to the Northeast, but could mainly in the South Coastal region. And then you had the SEC, which was literally the Southeastern Conference. Everybody was geographically set, and therefore there were natural rivalries. Oregon and Indiana is not a rivalry because they're not near each other. Who gives a fuck? Why would somebody in Indiana give a shit about Oregon? But somebody in Washington is going to give a shit about Oregon because they rival states. Same reason Michigan and Ohio State's a natural rivalry, right? And then there's even a sub-rivalry with Michigan State and Ohio State because sometimes they could get an upset on them. And then, so you had these geographical rivalries. By the way, that also means if I'm playing in that region, I could travel to the other place if I wanted to. If I want to take a road trip from Northwestern in Chicago to, I forgot what it is, Indiana, or if I want to take a road trip from Ann Arbor to Columbus, Ohio, I can make that road trip. It's reasonable. But now you got all these mega conferences. It's just a fucking mess. So they ruined a very easy. It wasn't perfect to follow, but you really only had to follow your own conference. Yeah, Texas State is in the Pac-12. It's like, what the fuck? You had West Coast teams like Arizona State, UCLA, USC, Washington, Oregon. Yeah, you do. It's still a wide. Yeah, going from Arizona, there's still going to be some struggles, right? Going from Arizona to Washington ain't a picnic, right? But going from Washington to Oregon is a lot easier. Going from USC to UCLA in basically the same city-ish, same, they're both in Southern Cal. I know that Southern Cal is similar to Houston, is its own planet, but I get it. You know what I mean? You're still a lot closer than what we have with these super mega conferences. They don't make sense. Just a mess. But everybody wanted the bag. Everybody wants the bag. Bag over everything. You know what I mean? I'm not socialism, man. Karl Marx and the state and was it proletariat or some shit? I'm not saying that, but sometimes you're like, Jesus, do we have to Gordon Gekko everything? Greed is good, for every single fucking thing. All the time, every time. And always fuck up everything, even if it's a good story. Even if we got something simple and good. We fucked up. I say we. I didn't do it. But they fucked up everything. Yeah, they did it. Total fucking mess. Total mess. But what do you do? What do you do? So that's why I don't watch college sports anymore. It's kind of an unwatchable mess to me. And shout out to people who keep up with it. Shout out to people who still love it. That's just your business. I wish you the best. I can't. It's just too much. Too much. Crazy part is companies pretending you must go take a bunch of random. The corporate world, what a demonic place that is. Yeah, that's the biggest issue with college, obviously, that it even became a requirement, and we all fell for it at first. Culturally, that companies pretending you need to take a bunch of random classes that don't apply to qualify for their work. Just make simple work the conferences. Fucked up with sports gambling. Yeah, that definitely fucked things up as well. And paying college players. But you know what? Before they paid college play, they started. I think reconstructing the conferences was the first step. When they stopped the conferences being regional, that's when they started. That's when they opened the door to all this shit. When teams started to move out of their natural regional conference, when some of the Big 12 teams started to join the SEC back in the day, that was the first door open. And then you had sports gambling right behind that. And then you had, let's be honest, the SEC, why were they winning? We all knew they were paying college players. We all knew. So if that's going to keep going on, eventually you're going to have to normalize that. You're going to have to legalize that. So once that, it was just like, so I think when they started to take money to move out of their natural conferences, I think it was Texas the first team to join the SEC, or one of them. Once that was the first domino, and then that's where everything else fell. Because that's when we start being, okay, this is all about money. And you had less justification to argue against whatever that next step was. Because there's no argument for this. Texas shouldn't be in the Southeastern Conference. It's not in the Southeast. You know what I mean? This is not the South. I'm in Texas. It's not the Southeast. It's the middle of the motherfucking country. And it should be going against teams like Oklahoma, all these teams that's in Texas and Oklahoma State. And so they just fucked that up. Once they fucked that up, that was it. I guess Arkansas, you can argue either way. You got, Arkansas, Kansas, Missouri. So it's still you're still trying to aim to the middle of the state. Wait, Arkansas was the SEC, I believe. So that's about far over as you would get for SEC. I guess it's still not that far from Mississippi. Ole Miss, Tennessee, Mississippi State, Alabama, Auburn. Keeping that regionalism to the conferences was the first. That kept the illusion of amateurism and of something more. That kept that illusion up. That kept that illusion of tradition, because that's the stuff that college sports is supposed to be built on. Tradition, quote unquote amateurism, and regional pride. Once they start fucking up the regions, everything else was for sale. That's the first thing they put on sale. Now paying the players, I don't know how they can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. I'm not gonna say it didn't ruin things though. I think the players should have been paid. I don't know if this was the right way. Because now we need a salary cap. We got to get a salary cap. And is that going to be good? And then what to do with this transfer portal? So, I remember back in the day, if you transfer, you have to sit out a year. They don't do that shit no more. So, that's another thing. The transfer portal is as demonic as because now that's basically the free market system or the free agent system. And every year you're a free agent. It's a mess. The way they're paying players is also a problem. You don't have guys locked in for 2 years or locked in for 3 years. It's just like, all right, you're here for this year and you want to leave, you can leave. And if the other teams want to pay you, they can pay. It's just, and if they're not, it's just, then you're fucked. And it's just a mess. It's a mess. So yeah, it's a lot of mess. But then we can talk about the college system again. What a major scam this country can be. That they academically and socially and culturally push college on millions and millions and millions of people. Which, yes, some people did have success because they went to college and it was the best thing for them. But especially if you're talking about further back in time, and even a few people from my generation were able to go to college. I graduated in 2005. I'm an old fart. If I would have went, and I did go to a community college. You go, but then by the time I quote unquote would have graduated, I got out of community college in 07. 08, 09, 10 is the recession, even up to 11 really. So it was like, all right, it's recession time. So even if I would have gotten my degree, I would have went right into a recession with it. But there were some people that did, and then once they weighed it out, were able to get a decent job. What I did is I've been working in this industry for a long time. I remember I wanted just like all I wanted to get was like 48K, and this one company didn't give it to me. This is in 2019, so and then another company gave me 50 some odd K, and so I went there, and then when I was there, even though that was stressful too, they basically we were struggling as far as the work, and this one chick hires her fucking daughter, who honestly ended up being a pretty good worker to be 1,000, but it made me so pissed that I went and got a certification so I could try to get a better job, which I did. And long story short, that's how I ended the job I currently have, which I wish I was making this money just 5 or 10 years ago. If I was making this money in 2016, I would be a king right now. But I'm making this money now, and it's like I didn't get a raise. It's like I'm in the same space. But I didn't go through the college system outside that community college. That didn't help me with a job. I had to stay in the industry and get a certification. And honestly, I'm at a point, I don't really want a better job. I want this job. If I could just keep this job 20 years, which I don't think I'll be able to, I'll be honest. But I'm cool. I don't really want to move up or do anything. I do want to do stuff outside of that. I'm doing this. Thinking about doing some vending machine business. Looking at, I really want to do that. I know that's not going to be the biggest cash, but I got to get into the business-minded situation. It should be simple to work the conference. Oh, yeah, said that. Had that in college, yeah. Total mess. I've said, and I thought about this because, I didn't mention, I tried to get a tech job in between. I went through a tech coding boot camp. I don't know if guys remember that. That was big in the 2010s. I went through a coding boot camp, was not able to land a job. And one of the things I noticed is it felt like being a Tinder. It felt like online dating. And I realized that when I saw actually one of the recruiters on Tinder. And I realized, a lot has been made, and I'm not trying to go red pill, but there's something to the idea that women's standards have been inflated beyond reality. If it's been said, and it may even be a study, where if you ask a man if he gets 80% of what he wants in a woman, would he be happy? He says yes. You ask a woman if she gets 80% of what she wants in a man, would she be happy? She says no. And a lot happened with the feminification of human resources. Because now you have women who are writing these listings on Indeed, on whatever job board, on LinkedIn, the LinkedIn culture, the culture of LinkedIn. Once these things became a thing over the past 10 years, I think this has as much to do with the degrading of the value of a college degree as anything, because now you have these goofy bitches who are in everyone's human resource, every big corporation's human resource department, every big corporation's recruiting department, and independent recruiters, and they are writing job listings that cannot exist. And the programming world, it was a joke, but it happened all the time. Somebody who says, now these technologies are 10 years old, but at the time they were a lot newer. I want 10 years experience with Vue.js. Vue.js has only been out 3 years. There is no 10 years. There's 10 years experience with JavaScript. There's not 10 years experience with Vue.js. Now, that was in 2019, 2018, 2017. Vue.js is probably now 10 years old now, so now you can ask for that. But that sort of thing. I want 10 years in React. React is only 4 years old. This technology has not existed as long as you want more experience. And you have these, and that's just this. I'm sure if you're looking for all sorts of other jobs, I'm looking for engineering, and they're looking for this, they're looking for experience that literally cannot exist, let alone you need a college degree for an entry-level job. You need a master's degree for an entry-level job. Again, these are the same goofy bitches who want a 6'5", 250-pound bodybuilder who's a bad boy, remember y'all showed me that shit with the it was like a horse breeding shit. The same motherfuckers that read that weird romance shit, dark romance shit, now they're in control of who gets a job. And so a college degree, that's just not enough. That's so passe. Now you need to be a master's degree. You need to be this, that, and third. Same way she needs a 6'5" billionaire playboy to date. Even though she got pregnant by, the random dude who sells weed and falls asleep on her couch playing Madden. But she needs it. But that's the thing. They never hire that guy. She'll sleep with the guy, right? But they never hired, okay, let's get what you can realistically get. They never hire him. And then that's before we got into the ghost market that we're in now. I'm just talking about the end of the 2010s, the degrading of the college degree, why so many people who had college degrees had such a struggle getting work. As much as it was the value of a college degree because so many people had it, I think it was these stuffy-ass human resource bitches who wanted unrealistic bullshit, and nobody checked, nobody looked at it, and nobody who hired gave a fuck. A lot of these goofy motherfuckers probably trying to smash the goofy bitches, right? So they don't give a fuck to how bad of a job they're doing at hiring people, hence we're in a crisis. And then you cut 10 years later, cut to now, and now we're at a point where now they're just putting job listings up there for the love of the game, knowing that nobody can ever get hired because they don't really have the listing. They're just, even though now we all know this is the gimmick, and everybody on Wall Street, nobody's fooled, they're just still playing this game, playing in everybody's faces. So, yeah. As much as we blame college, and rightfully so, and I'm not saying, you necessarily need a job in finance if you got an underwater pubic hair basket weaving degree. But even people who went for degrees that mattered lost out on jobs they were qualified for because of some ditzy bitch treating the job like her fucking Tinder profile. And I'm standing on that. I don't give a fuck. I wish more people would have experienced what I experienced going through tech to realize that was the case. And realize that there were people who wanted unrealistic things from even entry-level developers and had and maybe some of these people knew AI was coming and thought AI was going to be the way, because it's only a few years down the pike that you have AI development being a thing. But goofy bitches hired backed on fuckability, absolutely. Or hired based on, same difference. They were hired off fuckability, not competence, and they treated the goddamn human resources department like their motherfucking fucking Tinder profile. And here, we got the these memes are a few years old, and I've played them before. Oh, come on, Chrome. Let me see if I can find these human resources memes. But they're joking, but these are the bitches that were responsible of hiring people the past 10 years. Yeah, this is it. These are the bitches responsible for hiring people the past 10 years. Oh, it's shit. Google's trying to save us.
Hot mess in a denim vest. Hot mess in a denim vest. Gen Z slaying a hoop. Gen Z slaying a hoop. 5'3" in a tee. 5'3" in a tee.
Blazer and overthinker. Blazer and overthinker.
Of course you need him.
Hot mess in a denim vest.
It's always
in a denim vest.
always a gay best friend to keep everything going. But that's who's been responsible for hiring the past 10 years in most major companies. That. So, you've been hired off fuckability? Well, congrats. Sheesh. I missed some things. Hey, Tom Jensen, appreciate you being here. Not coming in at the end because we got a little more to go. College isn't designed to develop people anymore. It's designed to be a barrier to entry and a money-making scheme. Absolutely. Get a bunch of foreign money and give them opportunity to join the Western world and global corporations. Yeah. Has some vending machine keys. That's what I've been worried about. when I'm watching these videos of vending machine, I'm like, you know what? You can get the keys anywhere. Can't any vending machine be robbed? And how can you tell who owns the vending machine? So that's something I am worried about long term. So I gotta fix that. I think there are ways around it though. Recruiters are indeed the fucking worst. And goofy bitches use sites like LinkedIn to stalk you, right? IT masters for call center, IT help desk. That's 300,000 worth of degrees, right? Goofy bitches based on fuckability. Hey, I'm Jensen. My professional skills, I don't do a job. I forward the resume of people who do the job and collect 25%. Exactly. I don't know, man. I know you've been struggling getting hired, which you're not the only one. If that I don't know if it makes you feel any better or not, but you're not the only one. It's a huge thing. That's true. And cameras are now cheap, thank goodness. You can put a camera in for nothing. Don't rob vending machines because they're built with cameras, and cameras are all over the place. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. You are always being recorded. Good luck, man, finding jobs. Because now that same mentality has leaked down to every job. And really, companies don't want to hire. They don't want to hire. They want to I don't know why they list. I don't get the ghost listing. I got it at first when you're listing, unless there's a mandate just throughout the corporate world to keep the ghost listing to puff up the numbers. But I mean, there's a massive joblessness problem. There's a massive employment issue, and there's a lot of places that aren't hiring. And then they're trying to onboard AI. We'll see how that goes. I don't think it's gonna work. But that doesn't mean they're not going to try, especially when they got any reason they can to cut staff and increase profits. They'll do it. New vending machines are built with secret cameras and data tech or collecting tech. I'm not shocked. I've seen some videos about ghost listings. I haven't done a deep dive. I'm not going to lie, though. But I've seen some stuff on it. Yeah, hot mess in the denim vest, man. That's what was determining. That's what determines who gets a job. Some bitch with a high school mentality. Some ditzy hoe is determining whether or not you get to feed your family. Isn't that great? Isn't that excellent? The American motherfucking dream. The American motherfucking dream. See, I got more of these, by the way. I'm just cause this shit looks stupid.
Gen Z boss and me. Gen Z boss and me. Itty bitty titties and a ball. Itty bitty titties and a ball. 5'3" and an attitude. 5'3" and an attitude. Secret product in the trench. Secret product in the trench. New friend green and a sneaky link. New friend green and a sneaky link. Fake 10 hands in a hoop. Fake 10 hands in a hoop. Gen Z boss and me. Gen Z boss and me.
Determining whether millions of people have to feed their family for over a decade. Determining whether millions of people are going to be able to feed their family, grow families, even have families for over a decade plus. No, we're done. That's what was determining it. Amazon's 100% ghost jobs listing. They're not hiring. Yeah, I see that they're firing a lot of workers. They're about to go full board with their tech. We're about to find out if their tech is going to work. We're going to see if AI can really replace us at a massive scale. Amazon's going to be ground zero for that. And if it is, you know, if this is the end, this is the end. Then it was good serving with y'all. You know what I mean? It was an honor and a privilege to serve with you guys. Then shit, in the original Western world. I'll see you on the other side. See you in Valhalla. Had to get them out of the kitchen so they could do that. Obviously, they're providing so much value. Talking about a sneaky link, itty bitty titties in a ball. That's the goofy middle school minded 30 and 40-year-olds are the ones determining who've been determining the futures of millions of people, and no one said shit about it. That's part of how we got here. That's part of how we got here. Not to be, anti-woke, just like I'm not trying to be Marxist, but it's like these fucking hoes. These woke dumb bitches who fucked up America being stupid. I'm sorry. This is a real thing that fucked up a lot of things. I guess in the long run, maybe it worked out for me. Maybe if I would have got a tech job, I would have gotten replaced by now. I don't know. I probably would have got more money at an earlier pace before this fucking inflation hit like a bitch. But golly, it is what it is. That's just the way it is. Things will never be the same. Sorry, I've been singing all this fucking stream. But yeah, I'm looking at the comment I read earlier. Brandon Holland said, "My professional skills, I don't do a job. I forward the resume of people who do the job and collect 25%." And again, the recruiter, I say that I got when I went to North Carolina, I got a job through a temp service that ended up being a job. I was there at 4 or 5 years, and so it's not like it's totally this. I was blessed at the time that the economy was just in a better place, and only God knows what this economy is going to be. And I don't think anyone's job is safe, not even my own. I don't think everyone's job is in a jeopardy that's been advertised and the doom and panic that's been pushed. But over the long term, everyone's job is in jeopardy, right? Because eventually they're going to get AI somewhat sentient and somewhat able to do those tasks. Then they'll pay a recruiter money when they could have added 25%. That I never understood. Why would they pay the recruiter when they could have added more to the salary and get a better prospect? I don't understand that. I don't get it. You're right. If they add that, whatever they pay the recruiter to the actual person, you'll get more people applying. You'll get probably more qualified people applying. I never understood that. I never understood how recruiters even got money, because it's like, well, just this money you spend for the same reason. Money you spend on the recruiter, spend towards the thing. But I guess you got to spend that every year. You only spend the recruiter once, right? So if let's say it's 20,000, which that's not, which I don't know what it is, right? Let's say I'm hiring somebody for $60K, and I give you $10K as a recruiter. You're like, well, why don't I give you $70K? Because I didn't give you $70K next year, and the year after that, and the year after that. Maybe that's the thinking. Or maybe I have to up the benefit package. But I don't know. I'm not a corpo. I mean, I am a corpo, but I'm not a corpo motherfucking accountant. I don't know how this shit works. I don't know if that it does. A lot of things in corporations don't work, but they work in spite themselves, because the corporation has hit whatever hustle they have to generate enough money that there's enough money to flow in despite the mistakes. Similar we saw just yesterday with CJ Stroud. Sometimes, and not to shit on CJ, I think he can improve, but sometimes the team is so strong that the quarterback can fuck up everything and it doesn't matter. And a lot of corporations are like how the Texans were last night. They have so much money coming in. They have already been so optimized for profitability that even if the people fuck up everything, they can't fuck up everything. And unfortunately, that's how we got to the shitification of everything. You know what? Maybe we get out of here. I was thinking about maybe you said something about the ghost jobs, maybe looking for a video to kind of EFAT, but I'm having a weird issue with Chrome where it keeps getting rid of or making me have to reload the page. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know if it's just the computer needs a restart, and I'm not even sure that's a thing, because back in the day, if your computer was having issues, just restart it. because it just needs that. But in any event, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. We got an hour, almost an hour and a half, almost made it. So it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. I'm gonna try to get a phone stream in before. I'm gonna try to stream Friday and Sundays, and maybe Friday, maybe Tuesday, Friday, Sunday. I know that's not the smoothest schedule, but eventually, we'll work it out. And I'll try to get a phone stream in before then, or two, because I want to get back to that to see if that, it was cool to have newer people show up. Shout out to RFR. It's cool to have older people show up. Shout out to anyone else who's watching this stream live or on the playback, because I appreciate that. So if you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged to share and subscribe, please do that. And even if you do none of these things, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Good night. God bless. I'll talk to everybody later. Peace.